The phrase new year, new you is often tossed around as though transformation is easy, as though merely turning the page of a calendar might turn the page of your life. But let me tell you something straightforward. Real change is not easy. It's not magic. It's earned through effort, sacrifice, and the courage to confront the chaos that is your life. Each of us stands at the intersection of what we are and what we could be. And the question we face at the dawn of a new year is not trivial. It's fundamental. Will we continue on the path we've been treading, or will we muster the discipline and resolve to become something better? You see, the idea of New Year implies that the old you isn't quite enough. And that's true. Not in a way that diminishes you, but in a way that calls you upward. You have untapped potential you haven't even begun to realize. You have habits to shed, relationships to mend, and new skills to master. You have chaos to confront in order to create. Start by taking responsibility. Don't blame your circumstances, your upbringing, or the unfairness of the world. Yes, life is hard, and yes, the deck might be stacked against you in some ways. But the moment you decide to take ownership of your life is the moment you take control of it. That's the first step toward genuine transformation. Ask yourself, what small, meaningful improvements can I make today? Not grand gestures, not sweeping resolutions destined to fail by February. I mean small, specific actions that align with the person you want to become. Maybe it's waking up 15 minutes earlier, organizing your desk, or having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. The scale of the action doesn't matter. What matters is the momentum it creates. And don't aim at happiness. Aim at meaning. Happiness is fleeting. It's unreliable. It depends on external circumstances you can't control. But meaning is something you create by taking responsibility, by striving toward a goal, by making the world a little bit better than it was before you arrived. Meaning emerges when you step forward into the unknown, confront your fears, and discover that you're stronger than you thought. Understand this, the process of change will require sacrifice. You'll need to let go of who you are to become who you could be. And that's painful. You might need to abandon habits that bring you comfort but hold you back. You might need to outgrow relationships that no longer serve your growth. But the reward is worth it because the person you become in the process is capable of things the old you could only dream of. Remember, you don't need to become perfect this year. You don't even need to become great. All you need is to become a little better than you were yesterday. String enough of those small improvements together, and before long you'll look back and hardly recognize the person you used to be. So as you face this new year, don't just hope for change. Don't just wish for it. Plan for it. Work for it. Sacrifice for it. And when the voice in your head says, it's too hard, or you can't do this, respond with action, however small. Because every step forward, no matter how incremental, is a triumph over the person you were yesterday. The new year isn't just a chance to reinvent yourself. It's a call to responsibility, to courage, to growth. And in answering that call, you not only transform yourself, you inspire those around you to do the same. That's how real change happens. So step into the unknown, confront the chaos, and take the first step toward the person you were meant to become. The world needs that version of you. And deep down, you know you need it too. Taking responsibility for personal growth is a fundamental concept that serves as the foundation for meaningful transformation. In the speech, this principle is emphasized as the starting point of change, rooted in the idea that individuals have far more agency over their lives than they often realize. Responsibility in this context is not merely about accepting blame for past mistakes or shortcomings. It is about acknowledging that your future is largely shaped by the choices you make today. It is a call to recognize that you are not just a passive recipient of life's circumstances, but an active participant in shaping them. The tendency to shift blame onto external factors, be it upbringing, environment, or misfortune, can be tempting. After all, pointing fingers at something outside of ourselves is easier than facing the uncomfortable truth. We are, in many cases, complicit in our own stagnation. But the problem with this mindset is that it robs you of power. When you attribute your struggles entirely to forces beyond your control, you relinquish your ability to change them. Taking responsibility, then, is not a burden, it is a reclamation of that power. It is the realization that while you may not control everything that happens to you, you can control how you respond to it and what you do moving forward. Responsibility also requires self-awareness, which means confronting the reality of who you are today. This can be a daunting task because it forces you to acknowledge your flaws, your limitations, and the ways you might be contributing to your own dissatisfaction. However, this confrontation is essential because it provides clarity. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. By honestly assessing where you are, you gain the insight needed to determine where you want to go and what steps are required to get there. One of the most empowering aspects of taking responsibility is the freedom it provides. It might sound paradoxical. How can responsibility, often perceived as a weight, be freeing? But the answer lies in the way it shifts your perspective. When you accept responsibility, you stop waiting for external factors to align perfectly before taking action. You realize that you don't need to rely on others to create opportunities or solve your problems. Instead, you can begin to shape your own path, one decision at a time. This sense of autonomy is liberating because it removes the constraints of victimhood and replaces them with the possibilities of agency. Taking responsibility also requires courage. It means accepting that the process of change might be uncomfortable, even painful. It involves stepping out of the safety of excuses and into the uncertainty of effort. But with that courage comes growth. Each small action taken in the direction of responsibility reinforces the belief that you are capable of shaping your own life. And over time, these actions accumulate, leading to profound and lasting transformation. Ultimately, personal growth is not something that happens to you, it is something you create. It begins with the simple but powerful act of deciding that you will take responsibility for your life. It's not about perfection or fixing everything all at once. It's about committing to the idea that regardless of your starting point, you have the capacity to become better. And in that commitment lies the first step toward real change. The power of incremental change lies in its ability to transform lives through small, consistent actions that compound over time. Often people approach personal growth with the mindset of making sweeping, dramatic changes overnight. While such aspirations can be inspiring, they are also unrealistic and prone to failure. The concept of incremental change, on the other hand, recognizes that genuine transformation is a process, a series of manageable steps, rather than a single monumental leap. This approach is not only practical, but also deeply effective because it allows individuals to build momentum and achieve lasting results. Incremental change starts with acknowledging that perfection is neither attainable nor necessary. Too often, people become paralyzed by the enormity of their goals. They look at the gap between where they are and where they want to be and feel overwhelmed, unsure of how to bridge that distance. But what they fail to realize is that progress doesn't require massive leaps. It requires consistent, small steps in the right direction. By focusing on making even the tiniest improvements, they can set themselves on a trajectory toward success. These small steps might seem insignificant in isolation, but over time they add up to profound and meaningful change. The power of this approach is rooted in its sustainability. Large, abrupt changes often demand an unrealistic level of energy, discipline, and willpower, leading to burnout and discouragement when the initial enthusiasm fades. Incremental change, however, is far more forgiving. It doesn't ask you to overhaul your life overnight. It asks you to make small, deliberate adjustments that you can maintain. These adjustments might be as simple as dedicating 5 minutes a day to a new habit, drinking an extra glass of water, committing to one productive task before checking social media. The key is that these small actions are achievable and their consistent practice builds confidence and a sense of accomplishment. Another critical aspect of incremental change is its ability to create momentum. Success, no matter how small, has a compounding effect. When you achieve even a modest goal, you experience a sense of progress that motivates you to keep going. This momentum can carry you through the inevitable challenges and setbacks, reinforcing the belief that change is possible. It's the difference between feeling stuck and feeling like you're moving forward, however slowly. Over time, this forward motion becomes self-sustaining, making it easier to tackle bigger challenges and more ambitious goals. Incremental change also fosters resilience. By breaking larger goals into smaller, more manageable pieces, you reduce the risk of failure and increase the likelihood of success. And when setbacks occur, they inevitably will, you're less likely to feel defeated because the stakes of each individual step are lower. This approach allows you to adapt and recover more easily, reinforcing the idea that progress is a process rather than an all-or-nothing proposition. Finally, incremental change teaches patience and discipline. In a world that often glorifies instant gratification, this approach requires you to accept that meaningful transformation takes time. It encourages you to focus on the process rather than the outcome, trusting that the small actions you take today will lead to significant results tomorrow. This mindset not only makes personal growth more attainable, but also more rewarding, as it shifts your focus from the destination to the journey. By embracing the power of incremental change, individuals can move past the fear of failure and the paralysis of perfectionism. They can take small, consistent steps that build momentum, foster resilience, and ultimately lead to the profound transformation they seek. It's not about how quickly you can reach your goals, it's about the commitment to keep moving forward, one step at a time. The pursuit of meaning over happiness is a profound shift in perspective that redefines how we approach life and personal fulfillment. While happiness is often celebrated as the ultimate goal, it is fleeting, dependent on external circumstances, and can vanish as quickly as it appears. Meaning, on the other hand, is deeper and more enduring. It is not simply a temporary emotional state, but a sense of purpose and significance that emerges from living in alignment with your values, taking responsibility and contributing to something greater than yourself. This distinction is crucial because chasing happiness alone often leads to disappointment, whereas striving for meaning creates a foundation for long-lasting fulfillment. Meaning, however, is rooted in the choices we make and the actions we take, regardless of the circumstances. It is not about avoiding discomfort or seeking pleasure, but about confronting challenges and striving to make a difference. Meaning is found in responsibility, whether it's caring for others, working toward a worthwhile goal, or contributing to the betterment of your community. It requires effort, sacrifice, and sometimes even suffering, but it offers a sense of purpose that transcends momentary pleasure. Meaning gives life a depth and richness that happiness alone cannot provide. One of the reasons meaning is so powerful is that it allows us to find value even in difficult experiences. Pain, struggle, and hardship are inevitable parts of life. But when they are connected to a greater purpose, they become bearable, even transformative. For example, a parent who sacrifices sleep and personal time to care for a child may endure significant discomfort, but they do so willingly because they find profound meaning in their role as a caregiver. Similarly, someone who dedicates themselves to a challenging career or creative pursuit may face frustration and setbacks, but the sense of purpose they derive from their work sustains them through the difficulties. Pursuing meaning also fosters resilience. When you anchor your life in something greater than immediate pleasure, you develop the strength to weather life's storms. You are no longer as easily shaken by setbacks because you understand that your life's value is not defined by fleeting emotions, but by the impact you make and the growth you achieve. This mindset equips you to face challenges with courage and determination, transforming obstacles into opportunities for learning and self-discovery. Additionally, meaning connects us to others. When we act in service of a purpose beyond ourselves, we strengthen our relationships and contribute to a sense of community. Whether it's supporting loved ones, mentoring a colleague, or volunteering for a cause, these acts of contribution deepen our sense of connection and provide a sense of belonging that happiness alone cannot offer. Choosing to pursue meaning over happiness requires a conscious effort to shift focus from external rewards to intrinsic values. It means embracing responsibility, enduring discomfort, and finding fulfillment in the process of growth and contribution. While happiness may come and go, meaning provides a steady, unshakable foundation for a life that is rich, purposeful, and truly worth living. In seeking meaning, we not only enhance our own lives, but also inspire and uplift those around us, creating a ripple effect of positive change that endures far beyond momentary joy. Sacrifice as a prerequisite for transformation is one of the most challenging yet essential truths about personal growth. The idea of sacrifice is often misunderstood as a purely negative act, something that involves giving up what we value and enjoy. However, in the context of transformation, sacrifice is not about loss for its own sake. It is about trading something lesser for something greater. It is the conscious decision to let go of habits, behaviors, or comforts that may provide short-term gratification, but hold us back from realizing our potential and achieving long-term fulfillment. At its core, sacrifice is an investment in the future. It is the willingness to endure discomfort and give up immediate pleasures in order to create the conditions for something more meaningful to emerge. For example, sacrificing time spent on leisure activities to develop a skill or pursue education may feel restrictive in the moment, but it lays the foundation for greater opportunities and personal growth in the future. Similarly, letting go of unhealthy relationships or unproductive habits may initially feel like a loss, but it creates space for healthier connections and constructive routines to take their place. Sacrifice requires clarity about what truly matters. To know what to let go of, you must first identify your values and priorities. This process demands honesty and self-reflection, as it forces you to confront the gap between who you are now and who you want to become. Often, the things you need to sacrifice are the very things that provide comfort and familiarity. They may even form part of your identity, habits you've clung to, roles you've played, or ways of thinking that have shaped your perception of yourself. Letting go of these elements can be deeply uncomfortable because it challenges the stability of who you believe you are. Yet this discomfort is precisely where growth begins. Sacrifice is also inseparable from discipline. It is not a one-time decision, but an ongoing commitment to prioritizing what is meaningful over what is easy. Every time you choose to forgo a momentary distraction in favor of working toward a goal, You strengthen your resolve and reinforce your belief in your ability to change. Discipline becomes the bridge that allows sacrifice to translate into transformation. Without it, the act of sacrifice risks becoming a hollow gesture, disconnected from a larger purpose. Importantly, sacrifice is not without rewards. While the act of letting go may feel difficult in the short term, it paves the way for profound gains over time. The rewards of sacrifice often manifest in unexpected ways: a sense of accomplishment, deeper self-respect, improved relationships, or the realization of a long-held dream. These outcomes not only justify the initial discomfort, but also provide a powerful reminder of why sacrifice is necessary for meaningful change. Ultimately, sacrifice teaches you that growth is not free. It comes at a cost, and that cost is often the very things that keep you rooted in mediocrity or prevent you from evolving into a better version of yourself. Sacrifice challenges you to confront your own limitations, to step outside your comfort zone, and to accept the pain of letting go in exchange for the promise of something greater. In this sense, sacrifice is not merely an act of giving something up, it is an act of creation, the deliberate crafting of a future that aligns with your highest values and aspirations. Through sacrifice, you discover that the path to transformation is not about what you lose, but about what you gain in becoming the person you were meant to be. Courage in facing the unknown is a defining trait of personal growth and transformation. The unknown represents everything that lies beyond the boundaries of your current understanding and comfort zone. It is filled with uncertainty, challenges, and risks, but it is also where new opportunities, insights, and growth reside. Confronting the unknown requires courage because it means stepping away from the safety of the familiar and venturing in territory where you might fail, struggle, or even feel completely lost. Yet it is precisely this act of facing the unknown that allows you to unlock your potential and discover who you truly are. The unknown can be intimidating because it forces you to confront your fears and vulnerabilities. It is human nature to seek predictability and control, as these provide a sense of security. However, living entirely within the confines of what you already know and are comfortable with leads to stagnation. Growth requires movement, and movement inevitably takes you into unfamiliar territory. The paradox is that while the unknown feels threatening, avoiding it guarantees that you remain stuck in your current state, unable to achieve the change or progress you desire. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the willingness to act in spite of it. Facing the unknown does not mean eradicating your doubts or anxieties, but choosing to move forward regardless of them. This act of courage is a powerful catalyst for growth because it forces you to rely on your inner strength and resourcefulness. When you step into the unknown, you confront situations that challenge your skills, beliefs, and assumptions. These challenges may be uncomfortable, but they provide the opportunity to learn, adapt, and become more capable. Each time you face a fear or take on a challenge, you expand the limits of what you thought was possible, building confidence and resilience in the process. One of the most profound aspects of facing the unknown is the potential for self-discovery. In familiar environments, you operate on autopilot, relying on routines and established ways of thinking. But in the unknown, you are forced to confront new situations that require creativity, problem solving, and a deeper understanding of yourself. You learn how you respond under pressure, what truly matters to you, and what you are capable of achieving when pushed beyond your comfort zone. This self-awareness is invaluable because it equips you to navigate future challenges with greater clarity and confidence. Facing the unknown also requires embracing the possibility of failure. Growth is rarely a linear process, and setbacks are an inevitable part of the journey. However, failure in the context of the unknown is not a verdict on your worth or abilities, it is a learning experience. Each misstep provides valuable feedback that helps you refine your approach and move closer to your goals. The willingness to risk failure is a testament to your commitment to growth and your belief in your ability to overcome obstacles. Ultimately, courage in facing the unknown is what separates those who remain stagnant from those who achieve transformation. It is a choice to prioritize growth over comfort, to value potential over predictability. The unknown is where life's most meaningful experiences and opportunities reside, and the courage to face it allows you to live a life that is richer, more fulfilling, and aligned with your highest aspirations. By stepping into the unknown, you not only expand your own possibilities, but also inspire others to do the same, creating a ripple effect of courage and growth that extends far beyond yourself.